Hello, dear one. Welcome to this spontaneous podcast episode where I'm gonna try to remove myself from noises. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I wasn't going to share an episode today, which is quite interesting because I feel like this is also part of the message that wants to come through today with regard to creation in general and living a creative life, which we are all going to be experiencing, and we already are experiencing in the new earth, because creation is divine. True creation that is connected to spirit is some sort of expression, artistic expression, unbridled artistic expression of our soul. And those of you who are creators, many of you are, whether you know it or not, those of you who are creators, who are artists, you may relate to this, because those moments where you kind of release control and you detach from the outcome or from any piece of, in my case, content, or maybe you're writing songs, maybe you want to write a book. And if you're approaching this from a mechanical, from a more predictable way of being, that is not how real deep goosebumps giving creations are birthed. And the reason why I feel called to share this, it is because throughout the month of February I really was in kind of pause mode because it's winter and because I feel like the energies are really still very much inward and healing, and also just really integrating this change in vibration and preparing for spring. But those were the moments when I was actually the most inspired. Like right now, for example, I was just walking, and after walking for like half an hour, I just had this inspiration, and then I immediately just feel pulled to share this because it's guidance that comes from spirit, and it can benefit someone else as well. So this is how you know that something is worth sharing, is when it doesn't come when it comes with pure intention, and when it comes with this energy of, I want to call it relaxation, I want to call it divine inspiration, okay? And because we have been so conditioned to live in fear is the main obstacle for creation. If you have read, by the way, Big Magic by Liz Gilbert, she is one of my absolute best writers in the whole earth. Big Magic, this is really a book about creation and living beyond fear. I can't remember the subtitles, but it's Living a Creative Life Beyond Fear, something like that. And she talks about conquering fear and diving into the process of creation. And this is what we're doing, because in the new earth we are all empowered creators. We are stepping into a whole different way of being, where we are no longer led by the survival instinct of having to make a living, having to produce, or having to be productive. Because if you're not productive, then you have been conditioned to believe you're worthless, because you have to be useful in order to exist. and all those underlying narratives that have been running our lives that we just need to detox out of. And it doesn't come easy, because this is really stored emotion in our bodies that needs to detoxify, that needs to be released, that needs to be transmuted, that needs to be felt. And interestingly, I was led right at the topic of our conversation today, which is interesting because I allow myself to be, I'm really in my feminine energy right now. I'm allowing myself to be even led, and this conversation to lead me instead of me leading the conversation, and it brought us right exactly where we need to be. Anyway, I just love to use examples of, just really tiny pieces of examples that you can apply for bigger things, right? So, as I was sharing, we need to transmute those fears from our energetic body. Because here's what happens. Our perception, I wanted to talk about perception. Our perception of the world, it is filtered through past experiences. And not just past experiences. Somehow, at a soul level, we also carry soul memories, from karmic past lifetimes, that act as some sort of instinct, but that are still stored in our energetic body on a more subtle level. But for the purpose of today's episode, we're just going to talk about in this lifetime. And so, if you can imagine, you come here as a soul. Let's just say you're a pure soul, or at least considering your identity and you as a human today, right now. So, again, this is not true. You also come with the karma of your past experiences attached to your database, your soul database. But for the purpose of today's conversation, we are gonna just imagine that you come here as a blank page, so that we don't overcomplicate. So, you come here as a pure soul, and then all this emotional imprinting from the outside world start to define your life. Now, in the beginning, it's not that we were so defenseless or so powerless that we immediately just bought into the world's narratives, because we talk about children being they're just children, right? They do what they want to do. Well, this is our pure state. It's unbridled, it's free-spirited, is curious, it's open to life, it's adventurous. In our unfiltered, unaltered way of being, we are like that, okay? Now, what happens is we need to experience some pretty harsh, severe type of trauma for us to give up on our authenticity for survival. So it has to be something that literally feels like it's threatening our existence. And that can be something that a parent is telling you, because we see our parents as literally our without them it's difficult to survive in the world, so we feel attached to them on some level. Our survival feels attached to them and their well-being and their feedback, and this is how we become versions of what they have either expected from us or simply their own projections onto us. Okay, so a lot of us have chosen very difficult household, very difficult experiences as kids, and they may not have been necessarily externally or largely acknowledged as difficult. Many of you, I mean not all, but many of you may all have had a house in which you didn't lack, let's just say, the primary needs, basic needs, but there was no emotional fulfillment. And the basic needs of our soul was to be seen, was to be acknowledged, was to be loved. There was no love, there was no warmth, even though, let's just say, there may have been somewhere very hidden. If we don't have, for as emotionally empathic as we may be, if we don't have that feedback from our parents, we simply believe that it's just not true. All right, so and these become, these unexamined rules, they just become truths that create a model of reality. These conditions, just like any program, just like any software, you need rules, you need conditions, you need to parameters. Yeah. You need all these. Sorry, I'm just finding a place where I can just speak quietly. It's not very easy, but anyway. So we have formed a software, a program that has run our life. And this program, this software that we have developed, it was all based on survival conditions. If this happens, I won't survive. And even though right now you may feel like a grown-up, or not feel, you may think you're an adult and you're just, in the external world because you have, I don't know, like a credit card or a job or whatever the socially accepted version of being an adult is, you're still carrying a very deep wounded inner child within you, because those unexamined, unhealed wounds are still within you. And that inner child that is starved for love, for attention, for authenticity, for expression, for play, for creativity, is still there, and it will still be there unless you actually listen to her or him, because no one else will do that for you. Now there is so much this programming as well around being waiting for a savior outside of ourselves to do that, but we need to be the ones who give to our inner child what we didn't have. And so I always say this: you truly become an adult, a grown-up, when you complete, and this is something that Teal Swan speaks about, the completion process. It's very interesting. You can look into it, but it's just part of the conversation. When you complete, when you do full circle, when you close the loop of the unmet needs you had in childhood, but this has got to be you, because so long you look outside of yourselves for who can love you, or who can provide this for you, or who can reassure you, or who can give you the security, it will never happen. Because, and this is where I wanted to get today, because so long you will be carrying that within your energetic field, that lack of anything, the world around you will respond in a way where it will give you more of that. I'm going to repeat and try to explain that in a much more digestible way. Imagine we have this aura all around us. Imagine it like a fog or like a ray, but this field, okay? Let's just a round field around us. And within it, we carry all these emotional imprinting. And the way we interact, even though most of it is very programmed, it's very robotic, a lot of the reasons why we do certain things, sometimes unconsciously, is because of the emotional imprinting that the other person is sending. Just to give you some examples, this is why we act differently with people in our lives. This is why, the people you have been in a relationship with, they were either, the same loop, or when you healed something, you know that a new person who has, you are matched with the different frequency that is in alignment with the kind of frequency that you are at. And so what happens usually in karmic relationships is that the reason why so many people are in karmic relationships is because of those unhealed wounds. It's because that false hope that if that person is there, I don't have to look at my problems. I don't have to look at my inner world because, there's no love, but at least there's someone there. We don't love each other, but at least, there is this sort of agreement where we're both afraid of being alone, so we don't leave each other, but we are depriving ourselves of what we truly want deep down, which is love. But the only way to do that, it is acknowledging that, first of all, and heal that wound. And when you actually heal that wound, you will see that the karmic contract is just over. When you learn and heal, and when you learn the lessons that you were meant to learn within a karmic contract, the contract is just over. It really is. The same. I know I talk a lot about people, but for me personally, actually, it happened more with places than with people. And that's also a thing. You have a karmic contract with the country, or you have a karmic contract with the job, or you have a karmic contract with maybe a community. I don't know, but it's something that your soul requested to heal in this lifetime. Okay. First, by having it implemented by your karmic family very early in your life, or again, it could be something from a past lifetime that you just had to heal. Right. Okay. So, and so that aura also, so the way that aura, the way that aura works is that it also clouds our perception of reality. So if we walk around life carrying an energy of people are all mean because you could not, you weren't able to forgive the people who hurt you, in very early age, at a very early age, you will just walk around you with that gray fog all around you, and somehow people will just not approach you, or they will kind of reject you without even knowing why. The other person will be like, I don't know what's wrong, but I kind of just I felt repulsed by the energy of that person. I don't know why, even though your conscious intention may have been very different. Now, and this is what is creating a loop of experience, okay? Because you are just confirming back to yourself the beliefs that you're already carrying. Ta-da! So, and it's not enough to just brainwash yourself with some new thoughts, because it's still another programming. The way to really clear all those things is and all those filters of perception, and to clearly see beyond manipulation, beyond these negative energies, beyond this pollution that is in the world because of all these influences, is to deeply heal your inner child, and to see and to have the bravery and the courage to look at those most raw experiences in your life. And the only reason why I am sharing this and that I even dare to help other people heal is because I have done it for myself. Because no one else can hold space for, okay, people can only meet you at the level that they met themselves. And I have personally had to heal extremely deep wounds. And I can tell you they are raw and they freaking hurt. And now I understand why I spent 30 years without having the courage to do so, and just going around in circles and avoiding it because it hurts. And our brains are just wired for escaping pain. We don't want to go towards pain unless life really puts us in a situation where you're like, you have no choice but to look at it. This is why also my kind of work, people don't just, subscribe because they don't go for a session unless they are like, they really need it, because it's not, oh, this is so fun, I'm going to do a healing session and I'm going to look at my wounds. But, in the end, you're experiencing your soul's deepest fulfillment and the biggest emotional freedom that you can experience, right? So this is the deepest kind of work that you can find at this point, because I have for about 10 years I was just going from level to level to level to level, and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I have come to see the depth of the human experience in such a raw, in its raw expression, in its raw energy. All right, so perception, inner child healing. Is there anything else that I want to share today? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this is all that I wanted to share today, but especially the notion of energetic aura that we all carry, and how we keep recreating the same experiences over and over and over and over and over again, unless we stop, we pause, and we transmute those energies. Okay, and sometimes we get too caught up in our minds trying to understand what's happening, trying to understand the process, when in fact it's really through the somatic experience of it that you can release those energies. Okay, and this is why healers, they're usually there to hold the space. They provide you the container for that, whether it's a one-on-one session or is a group session. So they have the ability to energetically create that safe space for those emotions to arise and to be processed and to be healed. Because if you don't feel safe enough, those emotions will not. Okay, this is one last thing. I'm so grateful that I kept going talking, because this is very important. The main reason, okay, I want to share this because it's very, very important, and I'm hearing it's going to click for some of you. The main reason why these things are still stored, these energetic bubbles of energy are still stored, energetic bubbles of stored emotions are still within us, is because we haven't created enough safe container for ourselves to transmute those energies. Now, after years, after a decade of working with myself and healing, today I'm able to, right now I'm personally not working with any healer. And I'm able to do that for myself because I have created a strong energetic container for myself. And I feel safe enough in my own presence to do so. And I trust my system's ability to handle it. But if you're new to this type of work, it is going to be difficult to trust your own presence and to trust your system when you haven't yet even engaged with your emotions in a way where it's even safe for you to explore or dive in. So this is me popping up from the future. I just wanted to add another layer to that. The reason why we do not trust our ability to hold emotions, it is because just like any muscle, if you haven't built, there are two ways in which you can look at this particular. There are two angles from which you can look at this conversation. It's you haven't built a strong enough emotional muscle, because you haven't given your energy, your time, you haven't done the repetitions, right? So it is simply a matter of, just like anything you're learning, it's just a matter of showing up for the lessons, showing up for the training, showing up for yourself, showing up for your inner world, showing up for what's being revealed, for your inner child, allowing him or her to trust you. Because if you have been absent for 30 years, 40 years, however long it may have been for you, they won't trust you. You see? And we think about the word confidence, I think it comes from either Latin or Italian. It comes from con and fidere, which translates with trust. Confidence, when we say we're confident, it means that we trust ourselves. And in the same way that you trust yourself with, let's just say your ability to speak, or to make money, or to run 10 miles, whatever it is that you have put in the time and the practice, you have given yourself back the feedback that, I can do this. So that part of me feels validated, that part of me feels strong, that part of me can trust me for showing up over and over again. Now your inner child, because he or she, because they have been abandoned for so long, they don't trust you. They don't trust you. And so it will take time to build a trust. That's just what it is. So emotional healing and emotional this journey of taking of befriending your emotional world and your emotional your inner world takes time and takes practice. It takes journaling, it takes being with yourself, it takes being alone, it takes reading, it takes learning, it takes putting in the effort, it takes showing up for therapy, it takes showing up for healing, it takes you carving out time with your inner child. And if you want to do this even in a more badass way, you can use a picture of yourself. There was a time where I used to do that. I was just going out But sometimes we can go out and, just our minds are still wandering off at the tasks and the deadlines and all the other nonsense 3D things that seem to take priority over our inner worlds and our inner child. But tell yourself that this is, for me and my inner child, this is something that you may look very stupid doing so, but you're gonna, in the beginning, it may feel weird. You may feel like walking with a stranger. You're gonna be like, so how have you been? But you gotta get to know each other on a deeper level again, and eventually you'll become best friends, which is, the whole point of this journey, is to come back into alignment with your soul, is to walk this planet as your true self, which is, the keys are, in your inner child. And just to finish this little memo, if you have given your power away to someone else, whether that was a parent or a mentor or a teacher or a karmic relationship, if you have trusted more someone different than your inner child, to lead your life, to show you the direction, this is how you abandon your soul. And so you create this mutual rejection, I would say, this alienation from your pure essence, from the truth of who you are. And the relationship is broken. And all other relationships in your life will just mirror the relationship you have with yourself. Because if you think about it, what most people do when they are alone with themselves is find some sort of distraction to not be alone with their thoughts, with their inner child. And I want to use these words, which I feel are very significant. It's not about being alone as in without company, but spending quality time, keyword, quality time with your inner child. Because in the same way you can spend time with someone and, just being there physically, but just mentally, spiritually, and emotionally just being in some sort of other dimension, that's not quality time, and the other person doesn't feel safe. Safety comes through presence, comes through grounded presence. This is what gives someone safety, and the ability to trust you is when they know that you're fully there and you're fully present, and you don't come with some sort of agenda or just predefined just personal agenda, but you're just there. And this is how you give space to, this is how you create the nest. This is how you create the energetic nest. I'm gonna coin this term. This is how you create the energetic space and the energetic safety. And so ultimately the goal is to know to befriend again your system, your body, because so many of us, if not all, we have been disconnected from our bodies. And the reason for that is because we carried so much trauma and so much fear. If you were to be fully grounded and fully present, and by the way, if you're unable to truly meditate or sit still, that's the reason. It is because there is so much pain, stored pain and emotions within your system that you have to go around, or you have to okay, just to close with this, my coping mechanism with not being able to sit was just not being able to have even a proper stable home. I was traveling or moving every 6 months from country to continent to country, and that's how wounded and that's how deep my pain of lack of belonging and my trauma of abandonment and all those core wounds were. And they were deeply ingrained in my body, in my system, that I was just running so much away from myself, and I couldn't just stay still and grounded. And with that, I don't want to make it too long. I just wanted to put this out there because I know it is a very important topic, especially because lately we have been really dealing with some very, very raw emotional resurfacing, especially from past lifetimes. There are so many timelines right now that collectively we're healing. So again, if you're not able to consciously understand why certain things happen, just know that there's so much processing of also past lifetimes, and it's all happening to purify our vessels. So the more we resist the process, the more difficult it's going to be. The more we resist, the more we are in suffering. We need to learn how to truly let go and surrender and trust this process, which is easier said than done, right? But this is what we're here to master and learn how to do. Alright, dear ones. So with that, I will see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments below how this message resonated. And if you're interested in working with me, you can find below in the description box all the details. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.